So here is the definition provided by the mental health website, which, and to condense this and make this simple, is how we think, feel, and act. How our emotions affect every single aspect of our life, from childhood to adolescence through adulthood. It affects every single aspect in your life. So these are the contents that I will be talking about within my PowerPoint. So the different types of mental illnesses, these are the most common ones: anxiety, bipolar, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. So the most common one is anxiety, and it occurs mainly before a big event or an important exam. It's really common. Bipolar is extreme changes in mood and behavior. Depression is feeling sad, empty, and it just reduces your well-being. You don't feel enjoyment in the little things in life. And PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is common and seen in many veterans after going through war. It causes them to feel depressed, and it can lead to suicide. So my stance on mental health is I am all for it. I believe that school prepares you for every single subject except how to deal with mental health. I believe that as a society, we must try to improve and provide mental health services to everyone, have those resources available for everyone and anyone to utilize them. And of course, through my research, I concluded that two of the most common problems that seem to be con in providing mental health resources is the cost and the difficulty it is to recruit mental health professionals is a common theme in both instances. So I concluded research from School View and Prison View. The first one is prison. So I provided an example of a prisoner who has been in jail for over 20 years, and I provided two quotes. One before he completed the therapy sessions that he was going through to combat his PTSD and his trauma from childhood, and then after he successfully completed the program and his improvements. So his name is Jeremy Sledge at the Texas inmate. He's a Texas inmate, and he provides his story. He's 42. He had a really bad childhood, and his childhood left him with intense depression and PTSD, but he never got the help he needed. And these words hit home when I first got here. Whenever he got to prison, I was like, man, this is great. I'm gonna get the help that I've been trying to get. Meaning, this prisoner has been dealing with this for years, and he thought that through prison he was gonna get the necessary help he needed, so desperately needed as a child, as an adolescent, which led him to be in jail. And so in the article, it said that the program was caught, I believe a month after he was in the program, and then it was brought again like about 3 months later, and in 6 months he was able to finish the program. And this is his update after finishing the program. So he has more personal interactions. He said this month he feels like he's on more positive track. So overall, just positive outlook, just nothing but positive things that came out of his therapy and out of these mental health resources. So the claims that the Texas prison system claimed is that it provides and meets with adequate mental health services. Not true. It did provide a program, but it was later discontinued and then brought back. And that the Health Therapeutic Diversion Program in 2014. The reality of this program is that Texas has not kept up with the program and has resulted to strip prisoners from the necessary mental health that they require. And the Texas prison system defended itself, saying that it was always short on staff, and that was basically it. They were always short on staff, and that's why they weren't able to provide these resources. So, the result of no mental health resources for many minorities, obviously speaking on prisoners, because majority of prisoners in Texas, just in general, people that are in jail are minorities. And the result of no mental health resources for these people results to violence, aggression in the future. A man, Jeremy Sledge, went to jail to try to get the help he desperately needed, therapy. Imagine if he would have had the resources from an early age, and how different his life would be. So, a different perspective, but now in school. So, there's an article by the name of Spike in Mental Health Issues, Societal Thoughts Alarms Texas School Counselors. So, this article deals with 3 different students, different struggles, different situations, but each are facing mental illness. Each of them felt the same emotion of sadness, loneliness, and not being able to push through. But through the end of the article, it explains that each one of these students was provided with the adequate mental resources that they required. And through the help of those resources, they were able to overcome their problems, and to a point where now they can speak on the issue and are trying to advocate for a bigger mental health fund. So also in the article noted is that the state has noticed an uptick in students struggling with mental health issues, especially among elementary schoolers. Students as young as 6 have shown signs of anxiety, depression, and hopelessness. That's insane. So the different types of treatments include psychotherapy, medication, hospitalization, support groups, self-help plans, peer support. Psychotherapy, obviously meaning therapy, talk one-on-one with a psychiatrist. Medication, obviously, if talking, maybe some medication will help out. Hospitalization, if it leads to that, obviously, go to hospital, get the physical and emotional help that you or a person requires. Support group, talking with different people, but all united with the same problem. And it helps to talk to people that share the same problem. Self-help, I want to think of this as self-realization. You as a person realize your problem, you address it, and you try to fix it yourself. If you're not too comfortable speaking to others, this is always the first step of coping with mental illness. Well, not coping, but I guess addressing the problem and try to fix it. And obviously peer support. It's always nice to have your friends and family, being able to talk to them and try to fix a problem. It's always really nice. Okay, so here's 3 questions and 3 answers, obviously. So what is the most common mental illness found in war veterans? PTSD. True or false? Prison has complied and made mental health services accessible to everyone. False. School children are showing signs of anxiety, and that's true. So in conclusion, is mental health important? Yes, I am 100% on board that we as a society and as a state need to try to address the problem and try to fix it. I myself felt in the same situation as a student and as that prisoner. I I was dealing through a lot. I was going with the struggle of balancing school, work, and my family at the same time as I was taking one of my hardest courses that I've taken this far. I was in an uncomfortable situation in which not only was one of my dad's mom was sent to ICU for 3 days, but my mom's mom was diagnosed with breast cancer all in the same week as my final. I lost it. I broke down. I couldn't handle it. But in the midst of chaos, I was able to talk to my professor about my problem, and for the first time that week, I felt okay. I didn't feel better. I didn't feel, obviously it didn't change anything, the result of my grandma's, but I just felt better at that moment. And I can't imagine what I would have done or how much worse I would have done in school if I hadn't talked to my professor, or if I hadn't had that one-to-one communication with someone. I think having people available to help you in situations like that is really important, and the reason why I advocate for a better mental health system in schools, in prisons, and just have them available for everyone to use, not just students, but people of lower classes, not people of lower classes, but just people, anyone and everyone have these resources available. Thank you, and that concludes my slides.